I want to talk to you about interactive content with high engagement and how do you actually create it? How do you actually optimize it? So here are the generalities I want you to really think about. First of all, when you think about interactive content, what is it really? Okay, this is a specific type of content that users can actively engage with in real time. So the idea is to really engage with your content in real time, and this can be anything from entering information and pressing buttons to answering questions. So the options when it comes to interactive content are pretty endless. Okay, now essentially, interactive content presents information in a highly engaging way, and think of it as users actually playing. So static text information is just less dynamic in comparison. So why is interactive content important? Well, basically, interactive posts create high engagement. And the thing is, if you are trying to rank your content on SERPs, you want engagement. You want folks to actually also stay on your page longer. So this really increases it really reduces your bounce rate. Okay, so when you think about creating high engagement, this can improve brand recognition, reputation, loyalty, conversions, and more. As a matter of fact, you can even increase your topic authority. Okay, so when you think about interactive content, this is a multifaceted marketing approach that can have a significant impact on your brand this year and even in the future. So, as interactive posts are a novel form of content, they are great for attracting links. In turn, this can substantially boost your PR and SEO metrics, your public relations, by the way, PR. So, what is interactive content? What is an interactive content platform? Well, these are specific tools you can use to create interactive content with. However, I will talk to you about later on, creating interactive content doesn't need to be complicated. It's all about how you're trying to help your users, right? It's all about what your users are expecting, what their expectations are, but most importantly, the kind of niche you're in and what your rivals are doing. In other words, what's currently working. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just follow the trends. So, how do you measure interactive posts? When looking at the impact of an interactive piece of content, you can use several KPIs. I mean, the KPIs can be as many as 5, 10. It really depends on the niche you're in. For instance, you can analyze the number of likes, the number of shares, the number of backlinks, the number of sessions, the number of conversions, the number of signups or leads, by the way. So that's really good. And you can actually tailor how you measure the success of an interactive marketing strategy to your brand's wider objectives. I guess what I'm trying to say is that depending on the niche you're in, depending on the geography you want to really position yourself into, depending on the demographics you want to really go after, your needs will be different from your competitors. Okay, and so the most link attracting interactive B2B content is actually maps, based on our research. Okay, so this is something to really think about. So, but when it comes to interactive content, besides maps, you have, for instance, quizzes, you have calculators and tools, you have interactive visuals, you also have other timelines, sliders, and more. So again, here the idea is to have something interactive, something that can really help your clients, your reader, in a user friendly way, but also in a simultaneous way. Okay, so basically, as you actually analyze examples of interactive posts, several takeaways will emerge. What's useful about what you will learn is that basically, when it comes to interactive content, it's all about the value you are adding to your audience. Okay, basically, you've got a whole bunch of examples of interactive content in today's conversation. I'll share them with you, but there is plenty more out there to get inspired by. So whether you are looking for specific examples, supporting data, or just to get a flavor of a popular post, basically you have the ability to actually ask us in the comment section. You can ask us questions, and some of our team members will get back to you to explain to you what an interactive content piece can look like in your specific niche. So let me give you a few examples here. I want to share with you a few examples of interactive content. Okay, so interactive. So first of all, I want to start with examples of interactive quizzes. So quizzes have long been a favorite engagement tool, particularly on Facebook. So the most shared quiz published during the last 5 years has gotten a total of more than 5 million social interactions, almost all of them from Facebook. So, of all the interactive content types, quizzes are the most ubiquitous. They can vary from a simple outcome based quiz through to quizzes that are effectively assessments. So, the benefits of quizzes for interactive marketing are really numerous. They are really quick to produce. They help people feel good about themselves. They are very shareable and they are highly engaging. Okay, but it's worth noting that there has been an 80 to 85% decrease in quiz engagement since 2017-2018, right before COVID started. That's because like primarily Facebook's algorithm has sorry, basically our Facebook algorithm has shifted to focus on news, for instance, meaning quiz content has become less popular. Plus, Facebook users have matured in their usage. It's not always cool to share this kind of content anymore. So this is something to really think about. And so the first thing you want to do is that I want to share with you a few interactive content examples with high engagement. So look at number one, IQ cooking quiz for IQ cooking quiz from women.com. Okay, so this is really fantastic. This is a great example of an interactive food post. Publishers will often call a quiz the most difficult ever, then make it easy to pass or succeed. It all plays into our vanity. This is very much the case in the quiz above that I'm just showing you on the screen right now. Food lovers would especially want to share their high score on this difficulty food terminology quiz. Fantastic. You also have a generational quiz from BuzzFeed. You can see this on the screen here. So this quiz from BuzzFeed taps into what we discussed a little earlier, this time focusing on generational identities, okay? And so the millennials actually of BuzzFeed's audience have been specifically targeted you with this content. It is not designed to be extremely difficult, but does pose a challenge really. So the good thing is you can use interactives to boost other content, by the way. So that's really fantastic. Also, the next one is the coronavirus facts quiz from UNICEF. So this quiz from UNICEF tackles misinformation on the global COVID-19 pandemic that happened a couple of years ago by actually asking people to see if they can distinguish what the key coronavirus facts really are. So it really came online on March 1st to March 5th, 2020, and at the time of this show, it has already 200 to 250 engagement, way after COVID, by the way. So this is an important and timely example of how linking to a trending topic can help distribute information that can save lives, really. So the links to more articles about COVID-19 makes this quiz an example of how to boost the distribution of extremely important content. You also have the next one. You have a drinking water tracker from Mantle Daily. So this handy data calculator has an instant appeal. It shows how much water you should be drinking, okay? And so this post online actually in May 30, 2020, it has over 50, as of the date of this show, like a couple of years later, it still is reckoning links and shares, okay? Like nearly 100,000 social interactions. So giving personalized recommendations based on quick to fill out data, the appeal of this calculator is how it will give out different recommendations per user. It also encourages users' return. All the variables it uses in calculations can change from activity level to seasons. So this is really fantastic, especially from a scalability point of view, and this is really fantastic. You also have a streaming services calculator from MarketWatch. So as you can see on the screen here, more and more entertainment streaming services are becoming available. So this calculator allows users to evaluate what they are actually spending on streaming services. And this means they can make financial decisions based on what streaming options offer the best value for money. Okay. So this is really fantastic. And this is really cool because streaming services can actually occupy a large portion of people's budget. And it's one of those things where you think, oh, well, streaming is only a couple of dollars, but when you really calculate it, it can really go all the way to $100. So that's really three digit, and that's a consequential amount. So consumers are interested in this kind of calculators. Next, you have another wonderful example. That's the Zakat calculator from Human Appeal. So the Zakat, finally, this calculator is designed to determine the amount of money needed to fulfill a religious obligation. So this is kind of cool because when you think about it, Zakat is actually a Muslim concept, and it's a pretty powerful one, by the way. And one thing for sure is that you have to really understand that it's never too late to provide information in an easier to use, more accessible way. Okay, it's one of those things where you want to really understand what works and what doesn't work, by the way. And what I want to say here is that when you think about Zakat calculator from Human Appeal, it's one of those things where instead of asking people to donate money like the old way, by going through an interactive post, you are actually generating more interaction. You are generating more engagement, and most importantly, people can really find out whether or not they are, let's say, adhering or complying with their religious obligations or not. Okay, and this tool is pretty straightforward in the sense that it gives you right away how much you should be contributing based on, let's say, your assets, based on your income, based on your revenue, or based on other financial information that you provide. Also, you have diners, drive-ins, and dives map from 12 Tomatoes. This is also another wonderful piece of content. So you can see all the locations that were visited throughout the TV shows Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives. And so this piece, which came online nearly 5 years ago, illustrates the power of linking a popular intellectual property with an activity, in this case, travel. So this post has over, as of the date of this show, over 250,000 engagements. So that's really powerful when you really think about it. And but the thing is that now the question is, how do you associate a post like this to your specific niche? Well, you have to really think deep about what your users care about, right? You have to think deep about what kind of expectations your users have, and really create content around that expectation. Next, I want to share with you a bird migration map from Net Geo. So this actually came out a few years ago, but it's really powerful today, especially when it comes to those consumers who care about environmental trends, especially bird migration. And this is pretty good because basically National Geographic actually has nailed it down here. Okay, so this beautiful map combines amazing interactive visualization with storytelling, and that's what you want to remember also. It's not about visualization. It's not about having an interactive content. It's not an interactive piece of content. It's also thinking about storytelling. So on this page, for instance, when you go to a Net Geo's page, as you scroll through the page, the story unfolds one paragraph at a time. And so what you want to do is that you want to make your topic beautiful. Okay, you can take the most boring, quote unquote, boring topic, but the way you actually the way you visualize it, it has to be appealing. It has to be interesting for your target audience. Okay, it's one of those things where if you know what your target audience cares about, you are able to create a piece of interactive content that really appeals to your users, and you can do so across the board, across various geographies. It doesn't matter the location of your audience. you can still have beautiful content produced anyway. Another interesting piece of interactive content, you have a ICO explosion animation from Visual Capitalist. And so it's one of those things where you have to really understand that the animation that you currently have on the screen, described as a sponsored infographic, has over 1K social engagements. However, many of Visual Capitalist still maps and infographics have engagements in the tens of thousands. So that's really powerful. Let me share with you a few hacks before I close to this conversation. So here are some lessons on how to create interactive content. Basically, from all those different content types and examples, you want to make content relevant by tying it to a current events. You want to appeal to emotion. That's really important. You want to make your users laugh, make them cry. After all, you are competing with cat videos. Okay, think about that. You want to make your content beautiful. That's really one of those things where you want to see what works for your audience. You want to offer a value to your audience. It's all about actually solving their pain points. It's all about making sure that they are having a clear idea of what they're getting themselves into. And you also want to save your audience time and efforts, do the work for them. You want to make curation part of your strategy. It's one of those things where you have to see what works and what doesn't work. You want, for maximum shares, you want to help people look good, right? It's one of those things where you want people to feel comfortable, to feel satisfied with the results. And if you want something to stand out, give it a spot on your navigation bar. And you also want to use interactive content to help distribute research or other posts. And one thing is that if you are in a B2B context, don't discount Facebook's value. I mean, a lot of people believe that, hey, listen, if I'm doing a business to business, I don't need to be on Facebook. I just have to be on LinkedIn. That's not true. You can also use Facebook to actually push your B2B content also. Provide all information in a new way that will really help you a lot. And you also want to package content to appeal to people in more than one way. That will be very helpful in terms of scalability, okay? So overall, the thing is that interactive content can be a great way to make your content stand out from the crowd and to gain both shares and links. But remember that the world doesn't need another pretty clickable infographic or a simple quiz. Be creative, make the content practical or inspiring and beautiful, or alternatively, you want to make your interactive content really practical like some of the calculators. Hopefully, the examples I share with you today will have inspired you. It's one of those things where you have to see what works in your industry and what your audience really cares about. So in closing arguments into this conversation, I share with you a few interactive content examples with high engagement. I give you the generalities, the examples, and now the hacks, and finally the closing arguments. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.